We've spent the last 25 years building a business together.
Now we're building the ultimate driving collection.
All while having fun with family and maybe kicking a bush or two along the way.
First off, let's get something out of the way. So the F Solus was sent down to COTA, so outlets like Top Gear, Racer, Magneto, and McLaren themselves could get press with the car. Now, Jordan, Jason, and Dave could not make it down, and there's a good reason for that. So Dave and Brenda were actually receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award, which is really cool. However, the day that they were being presented this award was literally the same day as the press day down at COTA. The guys tried their absolute hardest to make this happen, but it just didn't work out. So I went down to Texas to shoot everything I could with McLaren and all the press. Also, if you're not up to date with the context of what's going on with F and the family, please watch the last two videos. So let me walk you through what you're gonna see in this video and how the week went. So when I had arrived, the McLaren techs already had the car broken down. They took the car out, they did some shakedown laps, and then we did some press for the magazines. So we did a cool photo shoot with our Solus and the other Solus. The other Solus that was there was actually the same car that ran at Goodwood. So that's the one that won Goodwood last year. You're actually gonna meet the driver who did the Goodwood lap last year. And his name's Marvin, and I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his last name, or we'll put it on screen. He's a McLaren factory driver, does special events, does stuff like this, tests the cars and so on. Oh, and I gotta shout out Esoteric. PPF has been worth its weight in gold. So before we went down to COTA, we had Esoteric come over real quick, put a full second layer of PPF on the Solus and even a third layer in some high impact areas. So here's a quick montage of what Esoteric does.
Wow. If I said it, I'ma stand on it. That's big business. Whole life got a stamp on it. That's big living. Real talk got his hands on me. I'm God witness. Up top got a plan for me. Get real busy. Everybody tryna ride away. Look, I'm tryna ride a beat. It don't really matter anyways. No, it don't bother me.
So we started out the first day doing a photo shoot with both the F Solus and the original Solus. This was actually the camo car that the guys got to drive and was the original prototype, which is pretty cool. What you're gonna see are a lot of behind the scenes of everything that was going on, including reactions from Jethro from Top Gear, Bruno Senna, Marvin, who we talked about, JR Hildebrand, and Justin Bell. All massive names in the automotive world. Day 2 started out horribly. You know, in Texas, you don't think it rains all that much, but of course, on the main press day, it poured rain.
Go, go, get down with it. Go, go, get down with it. Go, go. Get down with it.
So you can see behind me, we might have a bit of a problem. It is pouring rain here on the media day for the Solus. But now we gotta wait for the track to dry. Could be a couple hours, could be 20 minutes. It is Texas after all. And while we were waiting for the track to dry, a couple of the McLaren driving coaches went out in their rental cars to check to see how wet the track was. I think one guy had a Tahoe or an Escalade and the other guy had an Altima. Unfortunately, I missed recording it, but one guy spun out on one of the corners in the Tahoe, and that was pretty funny. And I talked to him after about the fact. Gentlemen, I have to ask real quick, did you plan to go sideways around one of those turns?
I was trying my best, but the ESC would kick in too much. So I've never drifted a truck before, but I liked it. This is the alarm I got on, never seen it on a car. Reduce braking to avoid overheating.
That's incredible.
That means that you're driving well normally.
So there are a lot of things going on while at COTA. The original Solus was there for customers to drive if they hadn't had a chance to drive the car yet. Of course, only a few Soluses have been delivered of the 25 that are being made.
fight both from. Here I come, big stepper, and you Lil Jackson's my sons. I'm from 651 City. But I'm levitating above your fake limitations. I've been racing y'all with a flow that's amazing. I'm fatal when locked in. They dreading it like a Haitian. Go, get down with it.
There's also a Senna GTR there, the Artura trophy car, the GT4s. There was a customer there with a 720 GTX, and that thing is sick. The point of the Artura and the GT4s is that it's a warm-up up to the Solus. You start there, then you hop in the Senna GTR, and then once you're comfortable with that, then you hop up to the Solus. So there's a whole program set in place. So the average customer just isn't thrown into the car and is feeling extremely intimidated by a full-blown McLaren race car. Not seen the piece with Top Gear, you gotta check it out. There'll be a link in the description. It was awesome meeting Jethro, seeing how they captured it. You'll see a little bit behind the scenes of their reaction and his unique experience getting in every possible car across the spectrum and comparing it to the Solus.
And then the car's going to be on your right. Yeah. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
We're not here for this car. This is just the warm-up act. We are here for this, the McLaren Solus GT.
Does this still get you excited?
Yeah, I love it. I don't think I'll ever get jaded. It's so weird. Like, no matter how long I do it, there are days, like, it can be hard work, like any job, but the actual just driving the car is the best. And to do it, I've never been here. I've driven the Senna GTR once before, but to drive something properly light with proper downforce, I'm excited about that. I drove Audi's P1 car back in the day, so when they left Le Mans basically, and it was crazy, but it was a Mickey Mouse little track, so I got a tiny taste of it, but I didn't
You're
get
gonna
it.
get a big taste of this.
Yeah, like this is a real circuit, real car. I don't think I'll have driven anything that would be able to compare lap time wise on a track like this, so I'm excited about it. And obviously I can use all the revs and go flat out.
That's what we want you to do.
Move up and give it a front. Yeah, me, so cool. The cool thing is I'm obviously nowhere near the limit of what it can do, but it still feels like you're working the car, so you get some enjoyment even though you're not fully lit really. The high speed is nuts. 3DS's is so cool. You're just flicking the car, dab a brakes, maybe grab a down change, and it's just really mega.
Every single time you get about 4 or 5 laps, and then the car would have to come in for a cool down. They'd clean it up, they'd check the fluids. Sometimes they'd have to cycle the gas to see how much you've used, and pretty much get an overlook from the mechanics every single time. So the car would come in, it'd go out. It'd come in, it go out. So something I find funny, you know, being in this industry is that even at the top level, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to hop in the back of a car, hang out the back of it, get photos, get video, and that's exactly what Top Gear did and exactly what we did. I love that even on a Top Gear shoot, this is how we accomplish it.
Oh yeah.
There's a rope and a harness.
Too fancy around here.
Oh, and real quick before I forget, remember we have Solus GT merch. So check it out at the triplefcollection.com/shop. We just restocked on Bugatti, Solus, Ferrari, and Logo T. So something people don't realize is that this is a full-blown race car, but the car also doesn't have radiator fans.
There is no fans on this car whatsoever. It's airflow that cools it down. Because it's been out on track, sat in the garage, it gets a bit of heat soak. Notice the temperatures come up, so blow a bit of air through it to help us bring the temperature back down for the next run.
So in order to cool the car down, you have to drive it at high speeds. So while we were filming the car, what would happen is we would get maybe half a lap, a third of a lap at COTA, and then we have to stop, wait for the car to do a full lap, cool itself down so it can run at lower speeds while we film and take photos, and then go again until it started to overheat and then lap again. So the faster you drive the car, the cooler the car is.
He'll back it off.
I mean, Goodwood was super different because we were on wets. Just due to the fact we didn't have the super sticky tires because you need them for hill climb like that because it's only 40 plus seconds long, so you need tires who switch on like this. We didn't have it simply, so we were running on wets, which made it quite entertaining for me and for most of the guys outside because some drifting here and there, but now on a proper racetrack, I mean, you've got the slick tires, the car has so much downforce, you can actually use that in the first sector, especially through the fast S's. Goodwood, more or less, you have a straight, you have a big braking, slow down, so you don't really benefit from the aero that the car can actually produce. Now over here you've got long straights, so you can just really use those 840 horsepowers down the back straight, reaching 300 plus kph, so it's quite nice to experience. And with the carbon brakes, I mean, the acceleration is just crazy. It's so impressive.
So for those of you who are true F1 fans, you will really appreciate this. Mouse Motors, I'm sure you've heard of them, sent over 3 cars to be driven and to do some press on while we were there as well. The history of these 2 Formula 1 cars is incredible. The MP4-4 that has the 12 on it, that was the car Ayrton drove his first championship winning year, and then went on to win 14 of 15 races. One of the most successful cars in the history of F1. And then the MP4-5 was the car that he drove after that championship year. Senna, Ayrton Senna's nephew, and Stefan Johansson took the cars out. Both have an incredible history in the automotive world. And seeing those things run compared to the Solus was such a cool experience. And I talked to Bruno to get his opinion on what it's like driving an old F1 car like that and the new Solus.
Quite a big difference. I mean, single-seaters are quite specific cars, you know, everything is very, very direct in many ways. The Solus is extremely agile as well, but, you know, this is like very stressful to drive in some ways. You know, you have the gearbox, you have all these things that you have to worry about, and at the same time, it's got so much power, so much grip, so it makes you want to drive fast. Big challenge. Solus is definitely a bit more friendly. Of course, these are very special cars, my uncle's first world title, so I love driving these cars and getting sort of like to reminisce a bit of how you used to be. But driving the modern cars is always amazing because you can just push it and find the limit without worrying as much as when you drive the historic cars. But yeah, I love driving both. Yeah, pretty cool. She's nice and hard work to drive, but yeah, you know, it's amazing feeling. Now I just need a bit of a tape for my hand for tomorrow.
You gotta get them calluses going.
Oh, that's gonna take a while.
Not only did Mouse Motors send over those two iconic F1 cars, there was a red car there called the M6 GT, which was Bruce McLaren's personal car that he built himself to be a daily commuter. So Justin Bell, again, who has a long history in the automotive racing world. Quick cool story about Justin Bell. In 1995, he drove an F1 GTR at Le Mans with his own father on Father's Day. And I think they placed third. So Justin has an incredible history to get in these cars and give his opinion on.
That is. I can't swear, but I really want to say that was a
game. But this is real life. I had to tell myself going down the back straight, 6th, 7th gear. I mean, it's crazy.
Let's talk about J.R. Hildebrand. He's competed at Indy. He's been the Rookie of the Year, and McLaren has often said that he gives some of the best feedback, and he got in Solus and was absolutely blown away.
They're treating it like a real race car. That's because absolutely it is. Feels much more like an Indy car, LMP1, LMP2 car than any street car. Certainly, there's nothing street car about this.
You immediately are like, oh, I do need a seat fit for this if I'm gonna really like get after it. Like you kind of get to the limit in a few places, and around here, I mean, this place it's high commitment to be fast. You know, it's not. This is not like a rinky-dink little track. From being in the Artura earlier, it's kind of like, okay, you put the car where you need to, everything's happening slow enough. This thing is like, you know, kind of how reactive it is.
The grip
feels like an open wheel car.
Nice. It's cool.
So to add to the chaos of everything that was going on, day 3 was an opportunity for customers to bring out their Sennas in honor of Ayrton Senna and the 30th anniversary of his death. So a bunch of customers came out for a photo shoot, got to drive their cars on track. McLaren does this all the time. They're called Pure McLaren events. A YouTuber by the name of Unspeakable came out. You might know him. He brought his Senna, got to go on track, talk to him a little bit about the Solus.
This is my first time in this car on the track, but I do track often, yeah. Either a GT2 RS, a 765. I have a lot of experience in a 600 LT. The GT2, yeah, it was too much for me though. I don't want to say it felt more insane than this car, but it felt like I couldn't control it as much as I can control this car, you know? I don't know, just because of how it puts the power down maybe. This thing feels so planted. Like, I have way more confidence in this car than I do in the GT2 RS. You drive it on the road, it's just nothing compared to what it can do out here. I mean, it's just, you can't take corners out on the road like you can like this.
Something I want to say about working with McLaren, which you guys know Triple F has had a long relationship working with McLaren. You know, I was sent down not only to capture content, but kind of manage the car. Immediately, one thing I noticed is how incredibly welcoming, nice everyone was. And I'm not talking about just the employees, I'm talking about even the drivers. I got to ride in a van with Jethro, Marvin, and JR, and they were some of the nicest dudes I've ever met. They didn't know who I was, but they were happy to get to know me, and vice versa. So I just want to shout out McLaren for always making their events incredibly fun, friendly, and just a place you want to be as an automotive enthusiast. Thank you for bearing with me. I know this was a different format. We'll get back to some regular content soon. We had a new vehicle show up about a month ago that we're going to do some testing with, and then we threw some wheels on another car. Thanks for waiting patiently for Solus content. Hope you enjoyed.
Jumping in, gotta get the bird spinning. Hot spinning, rotisserie chicken. Wait a minute, can't stop my pivot.